How's everybody? Good. Ready to rock and roll here?
Absolutely.
All right, let's rock and roll. Let's get started here. Well, first of all, I want to really welcome everybody here. What a nice group of people here. This is a really happy occasion that we have here for the city of Cupertino. And I want to go ahead and first of all recognize a number of our elected officials here. First of all, our county supervisor for this area is with us, Ms. Liz Smith. Our council is out in force today, full council. Vice Mayor Sandra James. Council Member Patrick Kwok. Dolly Sandoval. And Richard Lowenthal, who happens to be running for election. Right, running. And who else? I want to also introduce Jim McEntee, who is the former Executive Director of the County Office of Human Relations. And of course, our beloved City Manager, David Knapp, and his wife, our former mayor, Barbara Rogers, is here with us, and chair of the library fundraising campaign, as well as many of our good friends are all here. Today, we have a momentous occasion today. This is a very special occasion in Cupertino. I think here in Cupertino, we're about to receive what I would believe to be one of the largest private donations ever to the city of Cupertino. And this is a very special day for us because of the generosity of some of our residents and supporters here, Mr. and Mrs. Fred Chang. And this has to do with donating a huge aquarium to our library. And all of us here know that the library is a centerpiece of our new civic center here. It is a project that I have worked on, as I love to say, 7 of my 8 years here on council. And now it's actually coming out. We actually have the frames here, and it's being built and will be opened very soon in October next year. And adding to this new library, we will be having this giant aquarium, a size of aquarium that is about, 4,000 gallons of water. And if you can visualize it, it's going to be about 6 foot high and about 16 foot across, which is probably from over there to way over here. So that's the kind of size that we will have. And it's a marine aquarium with tropical fish in there. How did it all start? In February, myself and city manager Barbara Rogers, absolutely, and a number of us, staff, and Marianne Wallace was there. We met with Fred Chan, and we presented to him a list of our solicitations that we were doing from our library campaign. And Fred was very generous, and he picked one item on that list, which happened to be one of the top items on that list. And that was what we solicited from him. But he also confided in us in that meeting. We spent about half of that meeting talking about a passion of his. And he was telling us how he really loved fish. And so he was telling us how he grew up with fish, and how he has all these fish in his office, and that how you really should have a fish tank in your library. You know, the children will really love that. And he was telling us, this is not a small little fish tank I'm thinking about, but one that literally covers the wall. And I remember in that meeting, we got so excited about it that we asked our Public Works Director, Rob Quall, to get the layout, and we started to pour over the layout and talk about where might be a space for it, and talked about, this aquarium. So fast forward into around July, we came together and talked about that again. And our vice mayor, who had met Mr. Chang by then, became very interested in this project. And together we met with Fred on a number of occasions, worked very hard with our whole staff and our team of, literally a team of consultants on this to make sure we do a proper job on this. So the result is we're going to have this big, beautiful aquarium, which is going to be a centerpiece of our library. It's going to make our library a regional destination for a lot of people, a lot of children and adults, and it's going to be placed where Fred would like it to be placed, which is right next to the children's area. So, Fred mentions that if you look at the fish, it can calm you down. You can, no worries in the world, and you can inspire us. So, for all of that, I want to really thank Fred and Annie Chang for believing in our community, for being a part of our community, and having children who went to school in this community remember us and have chosen us. They could have chosen many other places, many other cities to be generous with. But boy, we're really glad you've chosen us to offer your generosity. And so on behalf of our city, we really truly thank you for your generosity. And I think that many generations of children and families would really benefit from your generous donations. So thank you very much. I want to bring up Vice Mayor James because beginning in July, we worked very hard together with Fred on this project. And I don't know how many times we met, but we met over at Fred's office a number of times, met over here many times. And so, I want to bring her up to make some comments.
Thank you, Michael. I'm going to even take us back further because this library, even before Fred got involved, a library should be a wonderful, wonderful, exciting process and project for a city. And this one has been a challenge from the very beginning. I remember we spent a year in public debate over where we should build this library. Should it be on the field or should it be in the present site? And it was very, very passionate. There were people on both sides of that issue, and there were people that wanted to save the field, and there were people that wanted it on the field, and they thought they had a right to have it there, and they went back to the general plan 13, 15, 20 years ago, and we spent a whole year in public meetings debating that, and we actually came to a conclusion to do what we didn't think we'd do in the first place, which was to totally remove the old library and build it on the present site. And so that was kind of an exhausting process for all of us, and there were some people on different sides of that issue that were very good friends and had some very serious issues and came back together to then form a new committee. And Michael actually chaired the original committee, and then he and I together co-chaired the library committee from there on out. The second issue that came to us was about Fred's very generous donation to donate money to the library, and we realized that we did not have a policy for how people can give money to our library, what that means, how we acknowledge that, and what that would all mean. And again, it just got to be this very, very, very big issue that took a lot of energy away from the focus of what we were really trying to do. I met Fred in April. Right after this whole thing started, when I called him up and said, could we sit down and talk? I need to explain to you what I'm talking about, and I hope that you would like to talk to me. And we had breakfast at this restaurant in Cupertino, which you all know. And the first thing Fred said to me was, Sandy, I know this isn't about race. And we just immediately talked about the library, and we talked about fish, and we talked about everything else, and we got right on track where we should be. And the thing I admired the most about him was his ability and his strength to stand up and do what was right in the middle of a lot of controversy, because I happen to feel that it's the challenges in your life that define your character, not your accolades. And I tell little people that all the time, that working through those challenges defines who you are as a city, as a human being, as a business leader, as an education leader. And I am proud of this community for working through and coming through this kind of a controversy and ending up with this incredibly wonderful gift that these two people have decided to give to our city. And not only to our city, because a lot of people from outside of Cupertino come and use this library also. Annie, I just met today, and I am delighted because I've heard so many wonderful things about her. And what you might not know is that she heads up the Family Foundation right here in Cupertino, and a passion with her is giving to educational issues and for educational issues. And so it was a natural mix when Fred and Michael and I started talking about fish and an aquarium and the serenity of looking at living creatures and how that would fit into the inner relationships and the interactions of teaching children around curriculum, not only through the traditional library sciences, which we value, but now we have a living laboratory where you can come in and you can study marine biology, and you can study about genetic breeding, and you can study about how the environment interacts with people and how the cycle of life continues and even doesn't continue on some occasions. So it has been a wonderful experience for me personally. I have a friend I didn't have before, someone I admire very much, and I think the community and the citizens of Cupertino and the users of the library have come away with an incredibly magnificent gift that is going to help define this library as one of those that everybody talks about coming to see, coming to enjoy, and the wonderful family that was nice enough to see this vision, to share it with us, and to work with Michael and I and our staff. By the way, our staff, Terry Green, our architect, and Ralph, who isn't here, Ralph Qualls had to be somewhere else, and Dave Knapp have certainly been with us all along the way, and our council, which had the guidance and the wisdom to approve this unanimously on Monday. So I thank you both very, very much.
This brings us to the exciting part of the program where we hear from the donors themselves, Fred Chang, and then after Fred speaks, he's actually going to sign this huge check and give it to us. And so we're very excited about this part of the program. Fred Chang.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Mayors, vice mayors, city authorities, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very happy today for today's event for several reasons. First, I will like to be part of the city, part of the community, do my contribution. And my parents have lived in Cupertino over 20 years. And my father just died a few months ago. My mother still lives in Cupertino. And all my kids go to school in Cupertino. I believe in education. My kid not only go to school in Cupertino, but he comes to this library all the time. So I think library is just part of the education. It's very important for us to build education, build a library, then help them to develop their life and prepare. So last February when Michael come to me and say, could you be part of the fundraising? I'm very glad to be part of it. And actually at that time I also make a suggestion, why don't we add some life to the library? So I think it's not only an attraction to the library, but also I think have additional meaning I could like to mention later. So during this several months, with the help of Michael, Sandy, and city and library authority, finally we get this project started. I'm very glad that I understand that last week the city had finally approved the project. I think it's good for everybody in the community, and I would say like to set up an example, hopefully for the community or other community to see maybe a fish tank, how a fish tank can help, developments of children's mind and time span. So let me get back to why I like aquariums. See, I have keeping fish since I'm very young. So I like fish because it not only give me a relax, I can enjoy it, and I think the more important is that it's developed me about responsibility, love and care, and also problem solving, because yes, fish is better than dog because they don't talk to you, they don't complain. but they do have problems. You have to clean the waters, you have to feed them, and also there's some problems sometimes, like if they die or they're sick, what do you do? So it really helped me to think in a practical life as I grow up, not just feed and study. Be fit by my parents, but it's really to do something, care, love about fish and keeping pets. So and also look at nowadays the society is pretty violent, And I think our kids are spend too much time on video games. I think it is something, attraction, not only additional attraction for the library. People come to the library, can relax, and see the fish. And I think it can induce or get the children or parents to be interested in keeping pet or fish. I think it's very good in developing a human beings to give love and care and responsibility. So I hope this is could be a meaningful to how a library or a community can see to away from the nowadays video games and everything. So anyway, I'm very glad that every work together and can get to this point. I hope the Aquarium will bring the so-called new additional life to the library. Thank you very much.
Here's the check. That, because it's a very substantial amount, so we need a very big check for this. And so
I hope that's all I need to do.
So here's a substantial pen. All right. Why don't we have the whole city council come take a picture? Sandy and Richard and
Annie's
Annie.
name's on there. Why is he? Does Annie get to speak?
She needs to co-sign. I'm not sure if that's good for it.
Sometimes make sure you won't catch it.
Annie, maybe we need you to
You need to
co-sign
sign
it.
it there.
Okay. Yeah, try it.
Let's balance this out.
I gotta be in the picture, I'm running.
That doesn't look too good.
I know we should have mixed up.
How come all the guys are over there and the girls are over here? This is not okay.
Can I suggest with the background sketch of the London?
Huh? All right, just there we go. All right, let's do it again. All right.
Do you want the city of Cupertino? Maybe we move over that way a little bit. Is that what you're saying, maybe? Or maybe we just turn this way. Let's turn straight.
All right.
All right. How does that sound?
Come on, Annie.
We should know how to.
Come on, Annie. Right in the middle. Middle. Annie. Middle. Middle. Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
That's wonderful.
Everybody look here. Thank you.
All right. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I should just say that the aquarium itself is $325,000, but together with the 10 years of maintenance that comes with it, it adds up to over $400,000. And so I just want to thank Fred and Annie for this wondrous gift. I think what we want to do next is to unveil what we have here is a rendering of this aquarium. And what we have here is a rendering of the plaque that is in memory of your father, Fred. So if you and Annie would come, maybe you could help to unveil this. Oh, okay. So we're just saying that we're going to just lift it from the top and take it down. So this is the aquarium. Will literally be that size, that big. And then here we have the plaque, and then we're going to lift it from the top also. Take it out. So this plaque says, "This marine aquarium was made possible by the contribution of Fred and Annie Chang and their family in loving memory of Mr. Park Chung Chang." And we also want to have something for you to take with you. So first of all, we have this rendering. We thought this might be a little bit too big, so we have a smaller size one for you to take today. And okay. Okay.
That's the original watercolor.
That's the original watercolor of this one. One of a kind.
Right.
And then we also issued a proclamation on behalf of myself and the City Council to Fred and Annie Chang, and I'll read a little bit of this. Whereas the City of Cupertino has the busiest library in the county library system and is in the process of building a new state-of-the-art library, and whereas Fred and Annie Chang have had a long time involvement in the community as residents, as involved parents, business people, and philanthropists, and whereas Fred and Annie Chang have made education a priority with their philanthropy and have brought to Cupertino a dynamic new vision of our community's most important learning center, and whereas Fred and Annie Chang have made the aspirations of many a reality by giving the community the resources necessary to design, build, and maintain a marine aquarium within the new Cupertino Library. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Michael Chang, and the Cupertino City Council do hereby honor and recognize Fred and Annie Chang in sincere appreciation and gratitude for their vision and generosity and for their contributions towards making the new Cupertino Library the vibrant and living educational heart of our community. Thank you so much. One more plaque. This one goes to our library. Our library is so outstanding. So Marianne Wallace, would you please? Our library is so outstanding that each year we become the first. And this is the third time that we've become the first again. So let me just read you just one small paragraph. Whereas the Santa Clara County Library has been rated #1 in the United States of America among public libraries which serve populations between 250,000 and 500,000 for the third consecutive year by Hennen's American Public Library Ratings. So I want to present you with this. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So this brings us to our end of our little ceremony here. But please stay for refreshment and a time to chat and to meet our donors here. Thank you very much. Good job.